Good morning. Bonjour tout le monde. Merci d'être ici. Thanks for being here this morning, especially the morning of the last day of the conference. I appreciate each and every one of you who are here today making it out. And I'm very happy to be speaking to you again as the interim leader of the Ontario Liberal Party. I'd prefer not to have me speaking here today, but that's not what we have. I got to speak to you in 2019 and 2020, and it was a real privilege. You know, it's one thing to be a politician and then speak to a room full of a lot of politicians and public servants. So you know there's a high bar that you've got to reach. So I want to thank everyone at ROMA for organizing this conference. You got a big crowd this year. There's a lot of new faces, renewal. That's a good thing. We had a great day of delegation meetings yesterday, and we're going to take those insights back to Queen's Park and advocate on your behalf. Now, I've been around for a while. I've been working out of the same community office for about 24 years. It wasn't always my office, but I worked in it. So I've been through a cycle of opposition and government, and then opposition again. The things I do remember from being in government is the work that we did with you on things like the municipal upload, programs to invest in new infrastructure and renewal. And one of the things I was reminded of this morning, before we came in, is something I'm actually quite proud of that I'd forgotten about. And I'm not sure how long it was about 10 years ago. There was a decision that was being made to end over-the-air broadcasting for TVO, every place except for here. I said, that's not right. That's not fair. And so at the time I went to see Premier Wynne and Mitzi Hunter, and I said, we can't do this. We need to find the money because it's not fair that the regions in this province won't have access to essentially free TVO. And they found the money, they changed it, it's still going, and I'm proud that it is. It's not a big thing. I think it makes a big difference in communities, and not just in rural communities, but also in some of the urban centres and the far reaches of this province. We're a big province. So, although we didn't always agree, we found ways to work together. And I'm proud of the work that we did in government. Didn't get everything right. Nobody does. So, little story this morning. Life is full of surprises. So, about 7 months ago, I got home early one day from Queen's Park. A day early, I should say. And I thought, I'm going to surprise Linda. Yeah. It's not where you think it's going, but that'd be a good story. That'd be a really good story, too. But maybe not one you want to have here. I open the front door, and I look at Linda, and she's sitting on the couch, and she's holding a puppy. And all I can think is, oh my gosh, not something to take, another thing to take care of. But that lasted about an hour, and it's been a good thing. Surprises are good things. Now, we had a little bit of a surprise in the last election. It wasn't what we expected. It wasn't what we worked towards. And it was disappointing, to say the least. And it wasn't all disappointment, though. And here are some of the things, and I just, ask for your sort of permission to say a few things about our party. We are here to talk about you, but I think we need to understand some context. So many things that people don't know. We beat the NDP in popular vote. We got 8 seats. They got 31. They're the official opposition. That's the way it goes. We held our vote in 2022. The NDP lost almost 750,000 votes, or actually over 750,000 votes, and the Tories almost 400,000 votes. That's not a complaint. That's not an excuse. We didn't do a good enough job of ensuring we got enough votes and in the right places. It's like going out and playing hard and then looking at your stat sheet after the game and you go like, that's pretty good. And then you look at the scoreboard and it's not good. It's like hitting the post a lot. Pretty disappointing. We're not going to hit the post again, I can assure you of that. We're going to work hard to score the goals that we need. But we did put some pucks in the net. And here's the thing I think I'm most proud of. We had a great slate of candidates. Nurses, doctors, teachers, business leaders, experienced municipal politicians, some of them in this room right now. People from all walks. They were young, they were diverse, and they believed. They believed they could make a difference. And our caucus reflects those candidates. We really do have an amazing team. A lot of them are right here. I can't see, it's pretty dark out there. Lucille Collard is a lawyer who is passionate about protecting people's rights. Stephen Blais is a seasoned municipal politician who really understands all the challenges you all face. Mary Margaret McMahon, a former city councillor who is a force of nature when it comes to protecting the environment. Ted Hsu, he served as a member of parliament, he's a physicist and has worked on world markets, and he too is passionate about the environment. Adil Shamji, an emergency room physician who's worked to keep communities in Northern Ontario healthy and is passionate about public Medicare. Mitzi Hunter, a former Minister of Education who's passionate about ensuring opportunity for everyone. And Stephanie Bowman, she's an accountant and a former board member of the Bank of Canada. She's also our critic for Agricultural and Rural Affairs, so I encourage you all to get to know her and everyone else on our team. I want you to know this because I am incredibly proud of each and every one of them. And they're working hard to make sure that your voices and voices of Ontarians are heard at Queen's Park on things like housing, healthcare, education, economic opportunity, labor, the Greenbelt, protecting our environment, and so much more. Over the last few days, your message has been clear. You need a partner that will listen to you and work with you. And this caucus and our party are going to work hard to earn the right to work with you again, to build up our communities, to be your partner. Now, I want to tell you a little story, another story about something that happened to me about a year after I was elected. One thing I love to do is I love to visit schools, elementary schools, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds. Because kids, they're the great leveler. Anyone who has kids or grandkids, I have grandkids now too, is that they kind of put you, I won't say put you in your place, but they put things in context, and sometimes they say things so straight out that you kind of get taken aback a bit. So I was at St. Bernadette School at a grade 5 class in my riding of Ottawa South. And after telling the students about here's what the provincial government does and what we're responsible for, I said, ask me any question you like. Big mistake. Well, not a big mistake. It was not a mistake. But it's a risk, let's put it that way. And so they were all asking me, some pretty interesting questions. And then about halfway through, this one young girl stands up, no older than 10, and she asked me this. She said, what's the hardest thing about your job? I'd like you to think about that. As an elected official, what's the hardest thing about your job? So at that time, I was just newly elected, and what I would say when an adult asked me that question was, it's that we spend so much time sitting, it's going to kill me, because I'm not active. And, it was half serious, half joking answer. I couldn't give this young girl that answer. She'd look at me like, well, I sit all day. What's wrong with that? What are you talking about? So I really had to think about it. I had to give her an answer that was true. And here's what I told her. It's not being able to do all the things that you want to do for people. That's a problem that I know all of us have in this room. It's not being able to do all the things we want to do for the people that we serve. Now, we can't do everything. We can't choose everything. We have to choose wisely. Most importantly, we all have to work together, all levels of government and business. It's just too important. By working together, we can get more of those things we want to do for people done. Take housing, for instance. It's pretty hard for someone to be part of a community if they don't have a stable place to live. It's even harder to build a community if people are forced to spend most of their paycheck on keeping a roof over their heads. It's hard to attract new business if people don't have a place to live. If we don't get housing right, it will make it harder to get anything else right. So we need to partner. Cracking open the Greenbelt, it isn't a housing strategy. It's not what we need. It's a strategy that will make some already rich insiders even richer. It's a strategy that destroys prime farmland and affects our watersheds. It's the people's Greenbelt. It belongs to the people. Hacking it up and giving it away to friends of the government won't do what we need to do to solve this problem of housing. Bill 23. It's not supporting a housing strategy. It simply puts more pressure on your property tax base and on municipal government because you're not getting the responses and the communication that you need to understand what the government's trying to do. You need a provincial government that wants to work with you, not against you. You need a provincial government that wants to listen to you, trusts you, knows that you understand your communities best. We will continue to push the provincial government to do that for you, to be your partner. And we're going to work even harder to earn the privilege of working with you again as a partner to build up our communities and our province. And I want to thank you for all the work that you do. It's not easy. Not being able to do all the things that you want to do to make life better for everyone in your community, that's hard. It's tough. It's hard work, especially when it's not your only job. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for the opportunity to come and speak to you. Thank you for the opportunity to thank you for actually welcoming us here, engaging with our caucus. And I look forward to continuing to work with you. And that's all for now, folks. Thanks so much.